Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Shelby on Safari live stream in which I, Shelby, a wild animal biologist and Pokemon trainer, take a ever impressive look into the world that is Pokemon and the world around us. I guess that's two worlds. Well, yes, I am on fire tonight already, less than a minute in, and I'm already rambling. It's going to be a good night. And if you are joining me tonight, whether live or in the replay, do let me know in the comments because live streams, spoilers, are one of my favorite types of content to make by far. And that's because of you guys. In fact, you guys have helped frame the pathway of this Friday's upcoming video with your amazing questions that you've sent in. So thank you for that. And keep your eyes out for Friday's video where I'll be answering your questions. But nice to see you all. The gang's all here. Fantastic. And you guys are here because we're talking Bulbasaur. That's right. The original Cantonian Pokemon. In fact, it is number 10 in the Pokedex. It was the first Pokemon in the Pokedex, and it is definitely number 1 in our hearts, especially if you are a fan of Pokemon Go. And that's because this weekend on Saturday is Bulbasaur Community Day Round 2. And it's very exciting. And that's why in tonight's live stream, we are going to take a look at this adorable Pokemon and see what exactly is it. And then I'm going to introduce you to an animal that is like a real-life Pokemon that reminds me of Bulbasaur. And then at the very end, I'll share with you my top 3 tips for this upcoming Community Day to get the most out of this magical 3-time catch XP day. It's going to be fantastic because I've been stuck on level 43 forever. And I'm looking forward to moving on up. But without further ado, friends, let's get this party on the road. Oh, it's nice to see a crazy LV. Let's see who's in the house. Don't worry, Bulbasaur, it's a fun word to say and spell. And you did it. Looks to me like you did it right. Crazy LV. Well done, well done. Oh, nice to see that Starkey is watching as well. Hello, Starkey Larky. Lucky LD as well. Fan of Pokemon Go. You play it every day. Excellent. So hopefully you'll get plenty of shinies on Saturday, Lucky L. And I think I saw my beloved friend Rita. Hey, Sheldon. Hey now. Now. It is all good. Bazinga. Alrighty, guys. So we are going to get... Alice, you're not supposed to give it away. Well, Alice saw my Instagram. I said I was going to reveal the name of my own Bulbasaur. And indeed, Alice has got his name right. Jackson James Pascal, or JJ Pascal for short, or just Pascal if I'm feeling relatively cheeky. But yeah, that's my friend JJ. And the interesting thing that I love about JJ, apart from many different things, but his markings are of Ash's Bulbasaur. And we'll talk a bit more about Ash's Bulbasaur in just a bit, but it's nice to see some friends. I'm glad you like Bulbasaur, Freud. It's nice to see you. Well, you know what I love about the live streams is that you all say hi to each other and you're all very pleasant. It's a nice sense of community. I like it, which is fitting for a Community Day for Bulbasaur. All right, so we are going to go through a few bits and bobs now, and apologies if I keep cutting out because my internet is fantastically terrible. So if I pause, it's probably going to pause on a really awkward face of mine, but alas, hopefully that will bring you some jokes. But this is where you can find me, guys, and it is all over the place. In fact, shout out to a dear friend of mine, also known as my sister, Lindsay. She noticed that I tried to do Discord, and she was like, hold up, I know Discord. And so I feel like Lindsay's becoming quickly my manager. So I look forward to actually properly being on Discord. So if you are there, let me know in the comments and I'll put whatever you need. She's going to kill me because I don't know what you need, but I'll put whatever you need to find me on Discord on there. Sorry, Lindsay. All right, so let's dive right first into Bulbasaur because that's the first bit of tonight. So we're going to actually try to discuss what is Bulbasaur. Then I'll share with you really cool animal that is like Bulbasaur, which I was surprised to find out because yeah, it's not as straightforward as you think. And then my community day top tips. So busy filled evening. And as always, let me know in the chat. But look at this face. Oh my gosh. This is Ash's Bulbasaur. And this was Ash's Bulbasaur's face when he saw Ash after a really long time in the anime. Now, if you don't know Ash, he's the main character in Pokemon, and he's been like 10 years old for like 20 years. He ages really slowly. But yeah, Bulbasaur was one of his first Pokemon, and he gets new ones kind of every season, but it was really nice to see Bulbasaur come back into the anime relatively recently. I think this was from one of the Lola episodes. And sorry if I'm bending down. I have a really bad itch on my leg. Don't know what's going on there, but awkward. So Bulbasaur, what is Bulbasaur? In the Pokedex, Bulbasaur is actually classified as a seed Pokemon, which I was like, that's weird. And yes, he is a grass type. And I was kind of like, why a seed? And then after a few more Pokedex entries, reading them through, it turns out that the plant bulb on Bulbasaur's back is actually from a seed, hence seed Pokemon, which is planted there at birth. So when baby Bulbasaurs are born, they're just little sores, I guess. They don't have the bulb, so they're just little sores, which is a nice, interesting nod to kind of lizard and dino, because soar, as many know, dinosaur, lizard-like. But so that's kind of a misnomer, because apparently Bulbasaur was actually made after a frog rather than a lizard, but we'll get to that. Now, the seed on the back of Bulbasaur, it sprouts and it grows with the Pokemon. So spoilers if you don't know Bulbasaur's evolution, but it gets a lot bigger, and the bulb on its back does indeed flower eventually when it evolves into its final form of Venusaur. And it gets even more cooler when it mega evolves. But this seed on the back of Bulbasaur is apparently filled with nutrients, and Bulbasaur uses those to grow. Now, that is a hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, my amigos, for what animal I chose and why I chose it. So I'll say that again because it's pretty cool. So the seed on the back of Bulbasaur's back is filled with nutrients, and Bulbasaur uses those to grow. But it's been too long since we had a quiz question. So friends in the chat, you're awfully quiet. This is stressing me out. But here we go. Here's your first Bulba question. Hello, Katie. Perfect timing for a pop quiz question. I haven't done a true or false question quite some time, so here is one now. True or false? Bulbasaur's evolution family is the only starter Pokemon to have the poison typing. True or false? Now, if no Pokemon, there are a lot of Pokemon, a lot more than the 101 that we started out with way back in 1990. There's a lot these days. So are the odds in favor of this being true? Or is it false? Please let me know in the comments down below. Like, sip on my epic Maui on Safari mug. That's right. It came in the post. I'm so excited. And then on the back, it has Safari Squad. So little Maui in a safari hat. You can get yours down in the link below if you want some Maui merchandise. The cool thing is that on the site that I do it from, you can customize what color. And I went with this color because it's one of my favorite colors. But I tried to put as many different color options on there for whichever color option you like. And there's also a few other things that are on that site, which I'll show you in just a bit. But it looks like everybody except, see, Julie says false, but quite a few of you say true. And indeed. So like Katie and Lucky L, it is indeed true. Bulbasaur's evolution family is the only starter Pokemon to have the poison typing. That's, of course, when we get to our friend Venusaur, the final evolution. And so I thought that was quite interesting, especially considering how many different types of, Pokemon generations there are and all the different starters. So well done, guys. Now, Bulbasaur, because it is a starter Pokemon, it's actually considered rare in the wild. But because they are a starter Pokemon, they are often raised by breeders for new trainers, which I thought is a nice little detail that they put in to the Pokedexes to clarify for us, when we're playing the game, why we don't often come across a wild Bulbasaur. Again, here's Ash's Bulbasaur. Talk about characters. what I love what they do in the anime is they genuinely make the Pokemon like have very specific, unique personalities, and Bulbasaur definitely is one. And one thing that they acknowledge in the anime and in the Pokedexes is Bulbasaur is quite the mediator. So if, you know, group of Pokemon, especially Ash's Bulbasaur, you know, he calms things down on the sides, and that he has little vines that come out that can help kind of rock, you know, babies to sleep and things like that. His little vine whips are quite powerful, but also used for good. But yeah, definitely a little Spitfire personality. I love Bulbasaur. Now, we have another question for you guys because I like to keep things nice and hot, quite literally. Oh, look, there's Charmander. So, which of the 3 Kanto starter Pokemon were designed backwards from their final form? Is it A, Bulbasaur, B, Charmander, C, Squirtle, or D, all of the above? Now, this one I found out while reading an interview with some of the creators of Pokemon, and I was quite surprised to find this one out because, you know, we come across the starters quite frequently. Even if you're not a fan of Pokemon, you know, everybody knows Pikachu, it seems, and these 3, the Cantonian starters, often, you know, appear. They're quite familiar, especially Charmander in this house. Actually, shout out, let me roll on over. Shout out to my friend Sid. Sid, if you're watching this, I have it. And I actually had to make sure my husband didn't steal it the other day. He tried to come into the studio and he's like, can I have it? And I was like, no, Sid gave that to me. So thank you for that. Yeah, look at it. It's a little thing. Isn't that so cool? You can tell which starter we all like in this house. So let's see. Alice says D. Julie says D. Emma Frog says Charmander. Rita says C. Oh, Emma Frog. Oh, it's me, LV. I changed my name. Oh, hi, LV. I like that you're a frog. Shout out for Frog Fridays. It's actually D. All of the above, guys. So well done. Well done, Lucky LD and Julie. Yeah, I was really surprised. And it seemed like the artist wanted to have kind of that final vision and go backwards to be able to create Pokemon where you would be surprised by their final evolution. But you can kind of see some of the similarities. So yeah, I really dig that. I thought that was quite cool. So yeah, they are all 3 were designed backwards, which is quite nice. Now, oh no, spoilers. I'll go back to my face. So the real life counterpart of Bulbasaur, guys, as you saw, it made me think of Mutualism. And that's because of what we saw in the Pokedex entry where it talked about Bulbasaur and the seed on its back providing nutrients to Bulbasaur and helping it grow. But I imagine there is some form of mutualism there. Now, I'll pull up that screen again because I wanted to give you guys a definition. And apologies, it is a lot of text, but I think it's super important that sometimes we dive deep into science together. So here we go, friends. Let's read. Let's see if that works. There we are. So mutualism is technically defined as a type of symbiotic relationship, and I now will define symbiotic relationship because I understand that too is a fun word. So symbiotic relationship is a close and long-term biological interaction between 2 different biological organisms. And within mutualism, which is a symbiotic relationship, all species that are involved in this relationship benefit from their interactions. And you can see I put some pictures up to kind of give an example of mutualism, which happens to be our friends, the pollinators. Now, the biggest thing with mutual interactions, because there are a few different types of kind of interactions that animals and plants and, you know, different kinds of species can have together. And in fact, now that I think about it, I think that was my very first Pokemon animal comparison video was Slowpoke and Shelder and talking about the different relationships. I'm pretty sure that's what I talked about. And so I'll put a link to the playlist down in the description below so you can check it out if you want to learn more about the different kind of relationships. But with mutualistic kind of interactions and relationships, the biggest thing is that the activities, if you will, of each partner benefits the other species in some way. So, you know, butterflies getting the nectar from the flowers, and then butterflies carrying, the dispersing, kind of helping with the dispersal of the flowers in the future. That's why pollination is often considered mutualistic. Bulbasaur. Hello, Bulbasaur. Yes, we're talking about you and your mutualistic relationship with the bulb on your back. Now, I do want to mention, not to be a Debbie Downer on this mutualistic interaction party, but neither species technically behaves altruistically. So it's not like they're doing it like, I really want to help spread the flowers around the field. So I'm going to go stick my face in the flower, and sure, I'll have some nectar at the same time, but I'm really doing it for the benefit of the flower. No, they're like, dude, I want some nectar. Like, it just so happens that, I'm helping the flower out, but it's not for the benefit of the other. It's for their own good kind of thing. And actually, Charles Darwin talked a lot about that. Well, wrote a lot about it, not talked about it. I'm sure he talked about it, though. But he did a lot of writings on it, which was interesting to see when he was formulating his theory of evolution. So now, mutualistic partners, with that, you might think, okay, I help you, you help me. Kind of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of thing. Within mutualistic relationships, they aren't always equal. In fact, they're probably rarely equal in terms of the benefits one gets versus the cost or the expense of the other. But the main thing is that both species are getting a good deal, for lack of a better word. So now that we've learned a bit about mutualism and symbiotic relationships, so 2 fun words for you guys this evening. Gotta keep things nice and fun on a Tuesday. Pop quiz question about pollinators, because we don't often talk about pollinators enough. Not going to talk too much about them tonight, but I wanted to give them a shout out because you kind of have to when you talk about mutualistic interactions or mutualistic relationships. So, how many flowering plants, I can talk, how many flowering plants receive pollination services from animals? Oh, that sounds most posh. Is it A, nearly 75% of flowering plants receive pollination services from animals? Or is it B, nearly 90%, C, nearly 25%, or D, without any nearlies, 100%? A wild Bulbasaur appeared. Where at? Are you playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, Rita? It's a good one. You better play that game quick before Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out. I'm so looking forward to that. Yeah, as you could probably tell by last Friday's video, because it was very hard for me to pick. Well, I say it's very hard for me to pick a starter from Cyndaquil, Rowlet, and Oshawott, but it's not. But in most cases, if like Cyndaquil was one of the starters, I would go for Cyndaquil. If Rowlet was one, I would have gone for Rowlet. But Oshawott, for sure. All right, so Rita's committing. Rita's committing to D. All right, Rita. Well played. Well played. Alice says B. Emma Frog says A. See, that's throwing me off now. Crazy LV. But I'll get used to it. Lucky L says B. Julie says C. All right. It's actually A. Well done, Emma Frog. Indeed, it is A. Nearly 75%. So that's a pretty solid chunk of flowering plants that receive pollination services from animals. So I guess it goes to show like what an important role they play, as if we didn't think of that already. Now, I do want to shout out, totally throw in another pop culture reference here. This is actually not from my Pokemon Snap, but it is a snapshot, ironically, of Pokemon Snap, a game that I got for Christmas, which I was so stoked to get. But there is a bit in it where you have like to fulfill little quests, and one of them was to get Beautifly to check out the flower on Venusaur's back. And it made me think of mutualism and that, and Beautifly being a nice little pollinator. So I thought, what a nice little nod, coincidentally enough, talking about pollinators and Bulbasaur and Venusaur made me think of that. So yeah, that's a fun game. And if you haven't played Pokemon Snap, I encourage you, if you have a Switch, to consider getting it, because I was really impressed by the amount of thought that went in behind it of the interactions between the Pokemon, which sometimes were a bit nerve-wracking because it was a bit upsetting. But sometimes they were really funny. And yeah, I did a video on before Pokemon Snap came out on the excitement, actually with my frenemy Ken. And so I encourage you to check that out to learn more about what I thought the Illumina Pokemon bit could be. But anyways, now, gotta say, since Bulbasaur was apparently, I'm not too sure on the sources, but a few of the sources did say Bulbasaur was apparently designed after a frog. And considering what we know about, you know, mutualism and the seed on its back, having the nutrients and helping Bulbasaur grow, it made me think of one particular animal. But before I go into it, I want to show, to really build the tension, as I need to move my chair because I'm actually stuck on the thing I wanted to show you. You would think, come on. Oh, I rolled on it. Look at this. It's a Peter bag, and it says alas, and it has Peter, and it's a little canvas tote, and it's super cute, and I love it so much. And yes, I had to show you the other bit of Shelby on Safari merchandise, and you guys were ever so patient. But this is the other bag. Fits a lot of stuff, carries your shopping and things like that, and you could look cool and carry Peter with it. And in case you didn't realize already, his little bow tie is a Spider-Man bow tie. I know you're not surprised, but I was so stoked when she drew it as Spider-Man. But anyways, so back to the frog, because you guys were waiting so long and so patiently. Here we go. I present to you, my friends. Do you want to do it? There we go. We have done it. We have arrived at the Dwarf American Toad. Ah, look at that beauty. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, Shelby is crazy. Well, yes, I am. But hear me out. So the Dwarf American Toad, when it is fully grown, is about 2 to 3.5 inches in length. Now I will translate for my metric friends. That's about 51 to 90 millimeters in length. So 51 to 90 millimeters in length, or 2 to 3.5 inches long. Now, as you can see here, based on this picture, they're generally kind of browny gray in color, but sometimes can have an olive base in color as well, which, you know, hinting to the green, but don't worry, it gets more green with envy as things go on. They also have patches randomly distributed on them too, which of course made me think of Bulbasaur with the different patches. And like I said, JJ Pascal back there, he has the specific patches of Ash's Bulbasaur, which is super cool. But yeah, the little bit of patches over. But the real reason why, the deeper reason why I thought of Bulbasaur and the Dwarf American Toad is not because of their fully grown form. And here's actually another one of the Dwarf American Toad. As you can see, the coloration variation is huge, which also one could explain for the shinies. But it comes down to the tadpoles of the Dwarf American Toad. Now, as tadpoles, these little guys, here they are, aren't they cute? As tadpoles, they live in warm, shallow, kind of temporary ponds that don't last forever. And they get, as kind of shallow water might do, they get nice long periods of sunlight, which is good to some extent, but of course that's not so good for like water levels because the sun soaks up the water. But to help the little tadpoles survive, they've developed a mutualistic relationship with a very specific thing. Now, before I reveal what it is, I want to say that these tadpoles may develop and can develop, and it has been recorded, actually in a study in 2006, recorded that some of these tadpoles develop a bright green coloration during their development when in specific kind of sunny conditions. So when the water is quite low, when it's really sunny and has been for quite some time, which made me think, oh no, I didn't put the picture in. It made me think of Sunny Day because I was like, wait a second, that Sunny Day, I wonder if that Bulbasaur could learn that move. And sure enough, Bulbasaur can learn the move Sunny Day by TM. Anyways, that's a bit of a deep cut. But I want to tell you, where does this green glow come from? Because look at this. Here's a really close-up picture, hence why it's super pixelated. But to be fair, it's still crazy they got this picture anyways, of the Dwarf American tadpoles, the Dwarf American Toad tadpoles, there we are, kind of a green color. And this green is not their normal color, but it comes from a symbiotic algae. And this algae lives on the skin of these Dwarf American tadpoles. And as we talked about, you know, their life in the shallow ponds can be quite rough when it's really sunny, and the warmth, and that can lead to quite low oxygen levels. And so what is a tadpole to do, right? So like, okay, the oxygen's really low, but it's nice and warm and sunny. What can I do to survive, to grow big, to become a Dwarf American Toad? Well, because of their relationship with this algae, they actually benefit from it, which is why kind of it's symbiotic and mutualism, those fun words we talked about earlier. So they benefit from having this algae on them because they get oxygen from the algae who are photosynthesizing in the sunlight. Isn't that cool? So it is like truly the circle of life, guys. So the algae growing on their back in these happy conditions are helping these little tadpoles get their oxygen, which is so trippy. It's just, yeah. And then as we see when they get bigger, you know, they can be the different colors. But I thought that was a nice example of mutualism. It just helps that they're green, that the algae is green. And thus kind of the algae helping them out, you know, by photosynthesizing, providing the tadpoles with oxygen, allow these little guys to survive these rough conditions and eventually, you know, reach a bigger size and hopefully successfully metamorphose into, you know, the toads or Venusaur or Ivysaur if we want to, you know, go into the Pokemon route. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Shelby, you told me this was a mutualistic relationship. So we know the frog gets oxygen from the algae. Great. That's amazing. But what does the algae get from the frog? So they actually get carbon dioxide from the tadpoles during respiration, which aids in the growth of the algae. So it's a win-win for both. So they get bigger, the tadpoles get bigger. Yay! Everybody wins. And so a nice straightforward example of mutualism. And of course, the green color helps me think of Bulbasaur. But alas, friends, there we are. A real life animal that's like a Pokemon. You know, it might not be in the shape of a bulb, but it's still pretty cool. And helping these cute little tadpoles become nice big friends is certainly worth something celebrating. And something that's not often talked about as well, because when we think of mutualism, we often think of, you know, pollinators and things like that. But there are some examples of other mutualistic relationships in the animal kingdom that coincidentally happen to be with some pretty snazzy amphibians. So there you have it, friends. A brief introduction into the Dwarf American Toad and why I think it is most like the lovable Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur. Not quite Venusaur. Well, I guess the Dwarf American Toad would be the Venusaur equivalent. And then their little tadpoles would be the Bulbasaur equivalent. But anyways, so my friends, Eddie Algae. Very good, Alice, very good. So now it is the time of the evening where I will quickly run through. Wowee, I am really on fire tonight. We will run through Community Day, what you need to know for Bulbasaur flashback. I think it's like, what's it called? It's Community Challenge. They've given it some different name that I do know, but I forgot. But anyways, it's a Bulbasaur Community Day. However, friends, unlike Steel Community Day, in which we had the typical 6 hours On Saturday, the 22nd of January, this upcoming Saturday, it's only going to be from 2 to 5 p.m. So we've been spoiled with 6-hour community days, but unfortunately, that shall be no more, at least not for the foreseeable future. They haven't released the details for February's community day, but be on high alert from 2 to 5 p.m. So got to narrow down the time frame because there's some cool stuff and cool opportunities happening on this Saturday. One of which is Venusaur will be able to learn Frenzy Plant. So that's quite a useful move. So I encourage you to evolve any Bulbasaurs that you want into Venusaurs into their final evolution for that. There's the research story, the classic research story coming out for a US dollar or the equivalent in your local currency. And yeah, I don't know. Lucky LD, since you play Pokemon Go, and any of you else who are watching, do you usually go for those research stories, or do you wait to see what's going to be the prizes by looking at like websites and stuff and then buying? I typically don't, unless there's a puffin involved. And puffins are those special candies for those of you who are like, what? They're like little candies that you can give your Pokemon to make them kind of your best buddies kind of thing a lot quicker. They're really helpful. And yeah, but I only usually buy it for the puffin, not typically else. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you do. Now, there's the rule of 3 with this community day, very similar to Spiel. You have, because of the 3 hours, it'll make it easy to remember that you'll have 3 times catch XP. You'll have lure that will last for 3 hours, and incense will last for 3 hours again. So lots of 3s. And so you really could, if you're like myself and really struggling to get through the XP requirements of the higher levels, or if you're like my sister who's just recently started picking up Pokemon Go again, it would really help if you are able to play for the 3 hours to really make the most of it. Lucky Elle, she always goes for the research task. Fair enough. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, sometimes they give you some really cool rewards as well, and also opportunities, encounters with the featured Pokemon, which actually, conveniently, is one of my first top tips for you guys for Community Day. I would say don't forget about the snapshot encounters. Now, there's something beautifully ironic about this, guys, is that the one thing I always forget to do on Community Day is what? Oh, you can't see my screen. You've just seen my face. You haven't seen my pretty graphics. Oh dear, that's embarrassing. Here we go. There's the pretty graphics. Apologies, guys. I was flipping through happily my PowerPoint slides. You guys are probably like, what is she talking about? So yeah, so tip number 1 is don't forget about the snapshot encounters. And that's really straightforward to do. You just take a picture of, say, your buddy when you're trying to get the hearts, and instead of it being, either the Go Rockets or, some of the other Pokemon that can be on the snapshot, it would be Bulbasaur, and you do have a chance to get a shiny one. So yeah, I encourage you to use the snapshot encounters, especially if, say, you're not able to go out and about for Bulbasaur Community Day. That's a great one that you can do from home or from wherever you're at. So yeah, snapshot encounters, don't forget it. I'm going to try not to forget it, but we all know I'm probably going to forget it on Saturday. But it's worth me reminding you guys so that way you don't forget. So tip number 2 that I have should come as no surprise, because I love reminding y'all about the importance of Mega Evolution, is that I highly encourage you to Mega Evolve one of the 2 grass type Pokemon that we have access to in Pokemon Go at this point. Of course, either Venusaur or our friend Mega Angry Snowman, Abomasnow. And that's because you would get more candies, more catch candies, because of the grass type boost. So I encourage you Mega Evolve one of those guys just before the 3 hours. And then that way you can get more candies. So you can really power up your Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, or Venusaur, and get them ready for Go Battle League, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it doesn't hurt to have extra candies, that's for sure. Oh, I'm so glad you're excited for Community Day, Lucky LD. It's going to be a great one because of the extra catch XP. It's It's going to be fun, fun, fun. Now, tip number 3, last but certainly not least, I put a little shiny Bulbasaur on there, because why not? They're really green. They have a lot of that algae growing on them, don't they, guys? That's a really green Bulbasaur. Is make the most of the XP. So if you can, maybe spend some coins on a lucky egg, because as we've seen, it has 3 times catch XP. And if you have the lure and have the incense, chances are you'll be encountering, hopefully, a lot of Pokemon, whether that be Bulbasaur or not. But I encourage you to catch them. I know a lot of people like to do the shiny checks, and that's totally cool if like you're wanting to find a shiny and that's what you're on about. But if you need the XP like I do, I'm going to be focusing on trying to catch as many things as I can. And yeah, if I get a shiny, great. But I'm more focused on actually catching the darn tootin' things. So what I'm actually going to show you guys now is my little thingamajigger, my little trick, Lucky LD, top secret, top tip. I actually showed it in my fletchling video, but it was it's hard to show. But I'm going to attempt to show it while talking to you. Let's see, I'll move over here. But it's how I catch things quite quickly. So I've tapped on Squirtle. There he is. Look how cute he is. That would have been so cool if he'd be a shiny, but it's not. So I tap on the Pokeball icon on the bottom side and I pull over. And so I'm still having my thumb down and I toss the ball and then I can let go and I'll go through it again. And then it should let me escape. So I don't really know if I've caught Squirtle. You can try tapping again if you see Squirtle, but I'm not going to like zoom out and look for him. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Obviously, if it's a shiny, don't risk it and take your time. So again, I put my finger down on the Pokeball and I pull over. You can kind of see actually that it moved over with me. Oops. So I need to do it again. So tap on the Pokeball icon, pull it over. Keeping my thumb down, I try to throw a Pokeball and let go. That brings up this screen to which I can just tap and run away. So let's click on Snubble again. Didn't work that time. So tap Pokeball, pull over, keeping it down. Oop. Try to actually hit the Pokemon. That works. I've let go. And it does take a while, Lucky LD and friends, to do it, but it does save time. And yes, I might not catch everything, but if I'm surrounded, like you saw there, with a lot of different Pokemon, I can whoosh, 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 and try to catch. Maybe 50% of the time I might get it, but then I can keep trying. But that's what I encourage you to do if you're looking to increase your XP and make the most of it. You know, if you can, use an incense. But definitely use the lucky egg if you know you're going to be able to be catching a lot, at least maybe an hour or so, or even just the half hour of the lucky egg working. Just like try to catch as many as you can. Where's the Gibble? Very funny, very funny. Gibble is so cute. Actually, I should tell a story about Gibble because Gibble's funny. Oh! You caught a shiny Bulbasaur just last week and absolutely love it. It is rather adorable and it does look cool. Venusaur with the flower, it's a bit more yellow. I have a Mega Evolved Venusaur that like trots around following me. But Gibble. So for our friends who play Pokemon Go, long before the day of Gibble Community Day and Gibble appearing frequently in the wild, Gibble was quite rare. It was actually, 2019? 2019, summer of 2019, Gibble was rare. It wasn't in any day or featured. I don't even think it was released in eggs yet. And I had the opportunity to go to Spain. And I remember walking around, beautiful streets of southern Spain, super excited to be there. And I saw a shadow on my Pokemon Go of Gibble. And I was like, because it's a shadow because I hadn't caught it yet. And I was like, oh my God, because I hadn't seen it before. I didn't realize like it was in the area. And it was really stressful moment because I was like, okay, we got to find this place. And I wasn't very familiar with where we were at. And so, trying to see, and luckily it shows you on a map, like when you click into where the closest kind of Pokestop of where it is, you can pull it up on a map. but I'm pleased to say I did get a... Actually, let me see if I have him on my phone. He's one of the most powerful because, of course, as soon as yeah, Andalusia. There he is. Look, when did I get it? 7/27. There he is. Good old Andalusia. But yeah, no, that's my Gibble. That's my Gibble story. You've never seen a wild Gibble. Oh, I think that would be quite the sight to see, Katie, if there was a wild Gibble in the real life. Actually, I should do a Gibble Community Day video just so I can say Gibble all the time. And not Gobble. No, it's not going to be like Thanksgiving. I'm pleased, Lucky L, that was a good tip for you. And you know this one. Excellent. Excellent, because it does come in handy. I'm curious to see, Lucky L, what level you're at. You're probably like level 50 or something. I will catch a Gibble for Kathy. Good shout, Alice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It was pretty straightforward. Not like some of my weird roundabout journeys, rabbit holes that I take you guys on. So yeah, we talked about Bulbasaur and how it's the seed Pokemon and how the seed is actually planted on its back at birth. Pretty trippy. And then it kind of grows with the Pokemon and provides nutrients to the Bulbasaur. Very similar to our friend, the Dwarf American Toad tadpoles, who actually have a mutualistic relationship with our friend, a very specific form of algae. In fact, I should have put the name of the algae in. I'll pop it in the chat, actually. It is Chlorogonium. That's a fun word. It would help if I spelled it right. Yeah, Chlorogonium. There we are. That is the name of the specific type of symbiotic algae that helps the little tadpoles grow. And it does provide them with opportunities for oxygen, especially in their depleted water ponds where they live. And with the help of sunlight, photosynthesis, that algae does help our little tadpoles grow nice and big and strong. But then, of course, as it is a mutualistic relationship, the algae has to get something as well. And the algae actually gets carbon dioxide from our friends, the little tadpoles. And then, yeah, I shared with you my Community Day top tips, in which I forgot to show you the slides that I created for that. But we got there in the end. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't already, be sure to check out the wonderful merchandise options down in the description below for your Maui merchandise, whether it's a cup, a sticker, or a Peter bag. I've popped a few different options on there. And if you're looking at the t-shirt or sweatshirt options and you're like, I would really like blank, let me know, because there are a lot of different options on Teespring for me to put the little logos on, and I don't know what people want. I know I wanted a canvas bag, so that's why I made a canvas bag. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to Community Day. There's a lot of Pokemon events coming up. Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I did my video last week on. I probably will do a few more live streams leading up to that. But as you know, well, many of you have joined me. Hello, Maui. Many of you have joined me each kind of Tuesday. But I really need your help now. And actually, let me see. I can't put a poll. Let me go on YouTube while I'm chatting with you guys and see if I can go into my creator studio while in a live stream. Let's see if this works. Because I really need your help, because I might probably have to change the live stream time/date. And obviously, the whole point of me doing this is to be able to chat with you guys and have fun. And it's kind of silly me doing a live stream when I can't actually interact with you guys. Oh, look, it let me do it. Okay, so now I'm in two places at once. Ooh, I'm like time traveling. What? I don't know why I'm reading it, but just so you can start thinking ahead, what time and day of the week would work best? And by the way, these are going to be in GMT time. Apologies, I'm not really good at converting across a bunch of different time zones. What time of the day would best for you for live streams? So yes, apologies for the last minute notice. And, next week we can try it on one of these nights. And then if it doesn't work out, then I can swap it to another one. But the first option would be Mondays at 6 6:30 p.m. GMT time, or Wednesdays at, well, I'll put 6:30 p.m. GMT time, and then we can change the time anyways. So I've popped the poll. Hopefully it works. Please let me know where it goes. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you were able to see it. I'm going to roll over like the man in the chair. Hello, did you want to come say hi? No, you ran off. That's fine. Rude. It's probably because I was really excited about Peter's bag and not Maui's mug. I love Maui's mug as much as I use Peter's bag more because I love a good canvas bag. Maui's mug is quite cute. But yes, let me see. Can you see the chat? Hopefully you can see the chat. I can't see my post. Uh-oh. Did I break the live stream? Because I can't see anything. Friends, Al, can you see the oh, you can see it. Thank you, Lucky Al. Good, because I can't. But yes, please vote. Hopefully one of those dates/times works for you. Or we could do a rotating basis. We will see. But alas, yes, looking to possibly make it a little bit earlier for the neighbors' sake. For many different people's sake, but mostly. Oh, he's here! Well, because y'all know how loud I am. And it gets late. Hello, Maui. Did you want to say hi to your friends? Say hello, sir. He was trying to break into the closet, of all things. There's nothing in there for you. Do you want to see your mug? Let's see what Maui thinks of his mug. Maui, what do you think of your mug? I don't know why he's been all shy lately. Like, in the beginning of the live streams, he was much more confident, and now he's just really shy. Why are you being so shy, sir? Why are you being so shy? Maui's looking forward to it being sunny this week. The past few days when it's been quite wet and rainy, Maui does not like the wet and the rain. Do you, boy? No. Okay, he's gonna go be grumpy and try to break into the closet. But with that, I've been wasting time. It is time for us to go, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again on another Tuesday as we looked into animals and pulp culture. I encourage you to vote in that poll so that way it can help me decide for next week's live stream what night to do it on. And I'll keep you posted here on YouTube using the community tab, but also over on Instagram as well. Those are the two platforms I'm most active on. And I hope to see you guys with me on the premiere this Friday night about the video you guys helped create with literally sending in your questions. And I go out on South Downs National Park to attempt to find the sunrise and record the sunrise. And yeah, you'll have to join to see what I see, what I hear, and if I can find the sun on a Sunday of all days. But with that, thank you guys again so much. Have a great rest of your evening. Maui says goodbye. He's already left. He said bye. Well, bye, darling. See you later. Have a good evening.